Good afternoon, all. So, in this part of the lesson, I would be talking about the treble clef specifically. Okay, so same thing as I say in every lesson, that if you have not checked the previous lessons of this playlist series, I would suggest you go and check them, because I won't continue those things in this lesson. So, just a short recap. I discussed in the previous lesson that there are two clefs. If you draw a stave, this is the treble clef, right? Okay, and this is the bass clef. Okay, so today in this lesson I would be talking about this clef only. Okay, so treble clef, point to be noted. For the treble clef, we play this with the right hand of the keyboard, and this is also called the G clef. Okay, and just notice it is placed upon the second line. So first, second, so you can see in the second line, from the second line I am placing this whole symbol. So it is also called the G clef, and it's placed upon the second line. So okay, so that's about the introduction of the treble clef. Now the treble notes, let me draw. This is the stave. Okay, so this is the treble clef. Okay, so these are the notes on the lines and notes on the spaces. Just as I discussed in the first lesson, I guess, that in a stave we have lines and as well as spaces. So these are the lines counted from upwards: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let me show you the notes. So these notes are the line notes, and these are the space notes. Okay. So these are all crotchets. If you are aware of these are the crotchets I've just discussed in the note value lesson. So now we have this. Now what are the name of the notes for the treble clef? So when there is a treble clef here, the notes in standard are E, G, B, D, F. Okay, these are the line notes, and the space notes are F, A, C, E. So this is the rule. Okay, so you might be asking, how do I remember this, or how can I memorize this? So we have few sentences for these. Like for this one, it is every good boy dress first. Okay, so you can just notice E, G, B, D, and F. Okay, and FACE, that is face. We all know face. So it is quite, you can remember this. So for this one, you have to keep this thing in mind: every good boy dress fast. Okay, so these are the notes. So now that thing which I told in the first lesson, why is it called the G clef? Because this line, as you can see, the second line of the stave, this is the G line. So this whole treble clef, you can see it is placed upon the G, on the second line, which is the G note. So that's why this treble clef is also called the G clef. Okay, and it is placed upon the second line. So E, G, B, D, F, and FAC. This is the composition of the treble clef. Okay, so now apart from that, we have this. There are other notes as well. As in keyboard, you already know the I will give the concept of octaves, but these are not only the notes. We have notes higher than this and as well as lower than this. Okay, so I am explaining this to you in a bit, what I am trying to say, and I will give you a complete structure of this whole treble clef complete octave, what would I say, the octave from one octave to another octave, how does it shift. So in a while I will give this to you. Just let me draw the whole thing first. Okay, so this is the complete stave. Okay, so this is the treble clef I'm drawing, as you can see. Okay, so now what I would like to introduce here is that this is itself not only the notes that we will play, there are notes above and as well as below of the thing which I have just, this picture is just shown here only. Okay, so just compare the two. So here we have E, G, B, D, F, and this is F, A, C, E. Okay, so now there are notes higher than this and as well as lower than this. So in order to represent those notes, what we do is we draw lines, short lines above these and below the stave. Okay, above the stave and below the stave. These lines are called the leisure lines. Okay, so you get another term, LEDGER, leisure lines. Okay, so remember, leisure lines are the lines which are used to denote the notes which are higher and as well as the lower than the general stave. So just I'm drawing these. This is the general, as you can see. So after this F, in the space we have G. Okay, so this is G. Right now there is a need of a leisure line. So this is a leisure line, as you can see. If you have to draw the different pen, this is a leisure line where I am drawing the line note. Okay, so this is we have, this is A. Okay, next you have to continue drawing these. Okay, next space note, this is B. Just zoom in this area so that they can understand a bit. Next leisure line. Okay, so this is again C, and finally now we have couple of more, I guess. This is D. This is a space note, as you can see. It is not on the line, it's on the space. So it's D. Okay, so next is we draw another line. So three leisure lines, as you can see. So this is on the line, this is E, and finally the last, this is F. So these are the leisure lines in blue, as you can see. Okay, so let us come to this side now. On this side we have here D, see, this is C. I don't think I have enough space to show you the complete, but you get the whole idea of this. One note on the line, one note on the space, one note on the line, one note on the space. Okay, so by this way it happens. C. Then next is we have here, which is B. Okay, so now two lines. This is A. Okay, and the very last, this is getting quite clumsy, I know. This one, just above this stave we have G. So this is G. Okay, so notice this whole thing. These are all the leisure lines. Okay, so leisure lines are the lines which are used to represent notes which are higher These are the higher than the stave and lower than the stave. Okay, and another thing to be noted is that we count them upwards when these measure lines are above the stave. We count upwards when they are above the stave. Okay, so as we are counting the normal stave as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we will count these series of notes which are above the stave as upwards, and these which are below the stave downwards. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. Okay, so this is a complete treble clef demonstration I've given to you. Now the last thing which I would say is there's a thing which is called, you must be familiar with this term, it's a common term, which is called the octave. An octave is nothing but distance from one note on the piano or keyboard to the next same note above or below. Okay, so an octave, if I have to write this, an octave is the distance from one note on the piano to the next above or below of the same name. This is very important, it should be the same name. Okay, so octave, like this C and this C, this is octave distance. Okay, C to C. So octave is the distance from one note on the piano to the next above or below of the same name. And how do you represent that in a short form? Let me show you this. Okay, so likewise I've already told you this is the treble clef. So this note as you can see, this is the E note. So this is the E note, and another E note is this one. Okay, so these two, so E to E, this is it. So this is an octave, is short representation. So that's about it. This is regarding the treble clef. Check out the next lesson where I talk about the bass clef. So thank you and see you in the next lesson.